About as frustrating of a baseball loss as you can have. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners postgame recap. Mariners lose this one 4-3 to the Rays. They fall to 45 and 36 on the year. They're 5.5 up on Houston and whatever on Texas. I'm not even following box scores tonight. I don't care. Before I dive into it, do me a favor, hit the like button. Helps out the channel tremendously. Hit subscribe if you're new or just lurking. Just a couple subs away from 3,700. Comment your thoughts on the game down below. Just awful all around. The offense was atrocious outside of one inning against Chris Davinsky, who was atrocious himself. And truthfully, the Mariners probably should have scored more runs. They throw away a run in the fourth inning with Saucedo throwing over to first base. They lose Brian Wu to injury. And then an eighth inning meltdown, all with 2 outs because, of course, and then just feeble attempts in the ninth inning to even get back in the game. Just awful. Listen, when they were up 3-1 going to the bottom of the eighth, I didn't think it was going to be a pretty win. It wasn't anything I was going to go, man, that's just a beautiful ball game. But it looked like they'd done just enough. Bullpen does a nice job taking over for Brian Wu, who leaves with the hamstring injury. Offense does just enough, gets the big home run from Garver. And after kind of what's been a tough road trip where you've been 2-4, it looked like you were going to get one. And then you feel pretty good with Castillo going tomorrow and Kirby in the final game that you're set up pretty well to find a way to win this series if you can win this first game. Like I said, it wasn't going to be a win that I was going to write home about, but a well-needed W. And just to stop the bleeding a little bit. If you win it, you get an extra half game on Houston. Who knows what Texas is doing tonight. And you feel pretty good. You feel set up pretty well in the series. But nope, just couldn't do it. Voth gets 2 easy outs in the eighth inning. Walks Taylor Walls, was just unacceptable. Can't happen. Throw him a fastball down the middle. I know that's easier said than done. But throw him a fastball down the middle. If he hits it, then, great. He's on base. You're right back where you were. Can't give up the walk. Jose Siri gets a base hit, just gets past Polanco. The catcher, I don't even remember I don't have the box score. I'm not even looking at the box score. Gets the ground rule double, which truthfully the Mariners catch a break on. Keeps it 3-2. Munoz walks Caballero. Yandy Diaz hits a chopper. Ty France has got to make that play. I mean, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not a baseball player. It probably maybe did take a funky hop. I get it. I'm not saying it's easy, but you've got to get that ball. Even if Munoz doesn't get over there in time and you keep it in the infield, you at least keep the game tied and you're still alive. But you allow 2 runs to score, lose the game, and then, of course, nothing in the ninth inning from this offense. Just dreadful all around. Let's talk about that eighth inning. Then I'm going to get out of here. I don't want to talk about this game. I really don't. This one stung. Even like I said, even when they were winning, I wasn't sitting there going, all right. I mean, I was fired up. I was happy. But even when they were ahead, I didn't think they were playing great baseball. It was just get a win. But when you're scuffling a little bit, it's just nice to pull one out. Doesn't matter how. But in the eighth inning, okay, so what was I going to talk about? Going to Andres Munoz. I truthfully probably would have gone to Munoz to face Jose Siri. And here's my thought process on it. First of all, I get them trying to limit the 4-out saves for Munoz. I 100% do. It's why I've talked about the team needing another bullpen arm. Sounds like Gregory Santos might be close, which is awesome. But you want to try and limit that if you don't have to. Couple thoughts on that, first of all. If the Mariners were 10 games up right now, and I know 6 is still a pretty nice lead, but if you were 10 games up and you were 4-2 on the road trip so far, I might be a little bit more like, it happens. You try to preserve Munoz as much as possible. I get it. But you've been scuffling. The other teams have gained ground a little bit. It just would have been a nice game to lock down. And then if Munoz isn't available tomorrow, so be it. You've got Castillo going, who's capable of going 6-7 innings. And at least you're in a position where, hey, just win one of the next 2, and you've got the series. So I go to Munoz for Siri for another reason. Here's the problem. They go to Munoz with 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs. The issue with that is the Rays just need a little bloop. They don't need anything fancy. They just need a ball in play that the Mariners bobble, or just like what happened. Yandy Diaz just sneaks over Ty France's head, and you've got the lead. Here's the thing. That can happen against the best pitchers. If Munoz comes in and faces Siri, and Siri does that with a little bloop, okay, you've got 1st and 2nd. The odds of them stringing a bunch of those together against Munoz, probably not very likely. But they just needed one, and they got it. And you ended up needing Munoz for a 4-out save anyways. You ended up going to Munoz with the intention of using him for 4 outs in the 9th inning. So it wouldn't have changed anything. You would have used Munoz for 4 outs regardless. Maybe the only difference is if they do string together a bunch of bloops, you may not have Munoz for tomorrow. I think you probably still should have him available for tomorrow, but we'll see how it plays out. I would have gone to Munoz a little easier earlier. I get it. I get them being hesitant with all the 4-out saves with the back injury and everything like that. I don't think it's crazy that they tried to get one more out of Voth. But man, it just felt like a game you needed to get the win. It wasn't pretty, but you just need to get that confidence back going a little bit and get a W. And then you end up blowing it. And Munoz has got to be better against Caballero. We knew Cabby would have an annoying at-bat. Not Matt Cobb. We know Cabby can work a walk, but those sliders have to be more competitive. They weren't even close. That wasn't Cabby having a great eye. It was a good at-bat from Caballero. Anybody would have laid off those as a right-handed, well, left-handed hitter probably would have hit you, but anybody would have laid off those. They've got to be more competitive. I don't care if they're misses, but they have to be enough where he's thinking about swinging the bat there. Just unbelievably frustrating. Like I said, the offense too, not off the hook. Taj Bradley is good stuff, good strikeout stuff. I figured the Mariners would strike out, but he's been barreled up hard. He's given up hard hits this year. And outside of Cal Raleigh, not a lot of hard contact against Bradley. They did a good job working some walks. They did a nice job against Davinsky in the 7th, but even there, they should have had more runs. Davinsky was awful in that 7th inning. He almost gave up a home run to Josh Rojas. Polanco stung a line drive out on him. Every hitter got to a 3-ball count. Truthfully, they probably should have scored 4 or 5 that inning. Their outs were hit fairly hard. That's not the inning I should be blasting them for, but it's just everything, right? I'm mad at everything. I'm mad at Voth for walking Taylor Walls. I'm mad at Munoz for not being super competitive to the at-bat Caballero. I'm not too mad at Munoz, but a little bit. I'm mad at Ty France for not getting that Diaz ball. I'm mad at Scott for not going to Munoz a little earlier. I am livid with this offense and tired of it. I'm mad at Brian Wu for not being healthy. I know it's not a rational mad, but like, dude, we need you. And I get it. Like, hamstring injury, I understand. Like, I'm not saying he should have pitched through it, but my gosh, like, it's just so frustrating. Brian Wu just can't stay on the mound. I mean, you're lucky if you're getting 5 innings every 10 days out of Wu right now. It can't happen. It can't, because today's a perfect example. Now your bullpen is in rough shape tomorrow. You can't even bank on the fact that, hey, we're in pretty good shape bullpen-wise the rest of the series. You're not. I'm mad at Taylor Saucedo for throwing over to first and throwing a wild pitch. Maybe the Rays would have scored anyways. I'm not saying they wouldn't have, but make them earn it. You just threw a ball over to first, runners at third, wild pitch, score. One pitch. Came in and threw one literal pitch and allowed a runner to score from first. I'm mad at him. Bauman was good. Trent Thornton was good. Stanek was good. Munoz was fine. Honestly, I would have liked a little more competitive sliders to Cabby. The Diaz play should have been made, or if it should have been made, it's a bit of bad luck. There's a 160 expected batting average on that. Again, maybe that ball, took a weird spin on Ty. I don't know, but from what I saw, it looked like a play that Ty France should have made. When you're in stretches like this, and listen, overall, Mariners are still in pretty good shape. I shouldn't be complaining too much about a team that's in first place, 9 games over 500 and 5.5 games up. But when you're in these stretches where things aren't going right, this is just the type of game you lose. I mean, it's just, you can't buy a win. You guys I talk about this a lot. I say it with hitters. Do you ever watch a hitter and go, I don't even imagine what him hitting a home run even looks like? He's in such a funk. Or a pitcher, like, I can't even imagine him getting the save or the outs. I'm not saying, listen, the Mariners are 9 games over 500. I'm not trying to be super doom and gloom, but this is just a stretch where, like, I can't picture them winning a game. But they're not doing everything they can. But even a game like tonight, I was still nervous in the 8th inning. Voth gets 2 quick outs. I'm like, okay, I'm actually feeling pretty good. One more out, you're going to turn the ball over to Munoz, and it's not going to be pretty, but we should get out of here with a win. Just, you need bullpen help. You need some offensive help. And man, I did not expect the Mariners, when they got a 10-game lead in this division, to win it by 10 games. And I truthfully expected Houston and Texas to probably claw back a little bit. I didn't expect it to be a week later that the Mariners lead was down to like 4. I mean, come on. Like, we could have given us a month. I know they're still 5.5 up. Guys, I'm venting a little bit. So if I say anything, like, I'm not mad at Brian Wu. The guy got hurt. It happens. But, like, I'm super frustrated. And everything right now is just, there's not a thing this team could do. Like I said, even the 7th inning, I'm mad at that. You should have scored more runs off Davinsky. Polanco did not look good in his return. Good to see Cal and Mitch Garver with home runs. Can't really celebrate him, though, in a loss. Well, they have 3 hits. I know they had like 7 walks, which is great, but you do have to put the ball in play a little bit too, guys. Hopefully Castillo and Kirby on the mound, you can still bounce back, win the series. That'll be great. It'd be a nice way to finish what's been a frustrating road trip if they could grab a couple W's. I think it's possible. They have the pitching matchup advantage in both games. But, man, the way this team is going right now, it's just, a baseball is going to bounce off the pitching mound, go 50 feet that way, and it's going to be an inside-the-park grand slam. Like, they're just in that stretch where they can't buy a win. They will win again. They will. I mean, it's funny. It feels like they've lost like 6 in a row. They've actually lost 2 in a row. The Saturday game feels so long ago right now. Bounce back win tomorrow. I can't talk about it anymore. It's just, and it's the same frustrations. I'm not going to go through the box score. It's the same things. Cal had a nice game, reached 3 times. That was a nice turnaround for Cal. But I mean, everybody else is just super frustrating. Super frustrating. Good. Have a good night, everybody. Avoid baseball. Go watch your favorite TV show, eat your favorite food, and just enjoy the rest of your Monday night. I will be back tomorrow. I'm not going anywhere. Hopefully it's a win for the Mariners and we can talk about some positivity. Have a great night, everybody. Go Mariners. Peace.